Welcome to Coco Recaps. Today I'm going to explain the 2023 film 65. The movie opens with a voice narrator saying that our galaxy is so vast that we have no idea what is actually out there and that there's a possibility of life on many other planets. We then see that the inhabitants of the planet Samaras have advanced to the point where they can visit other planets because they did so many years ago. After that, the scene shifts to Mills, who has arrived at a beach with his kid and wife, Isla. We found that Naveen has endured being an astronaut. He decides to go on a long-term space mission. Usually, he works short-term jobs, but this time he really needs the money, so he decides to put in some extra time. He has to take a number of scientists to another planet because he doesn't have enough money to pay for her surgery. However, his father loves his daughter very much and desperately wants to save her. I discovered that this endeavor may take up to 2 years. The picture then shifts to 2 years later, when we find Mills aboard a spacecraft that is under his control, and he is already quite close to his target before they are struck by many meteorites. Mills continues to go through everything with his wife. The spacecraft was previously on autopilot, but when Mills awakens from his cryogenic hibernation, he tries to take control of it manually because the other crew members are now in cryogenic sleep and cannot assist him. As Mills moves swiftly towards a planet that he spots, he is unable to see anything, which causes him to crash the spaceship into a massive boulder that causes even more damage to his ship. Mills realizes that his spaceship has sustained significant damage, and some of its parts have even broken. We observe Mills pulling out a piece of metal from his body as he is stunned to realize that all the other people aboard the ship have already perished. When Mills steps outside the ship to take a look around, he is relieved to discover that he can breathe easily. There are trees with fruit, and everything just seems like our own Earth, but it is not the same Earth we live on today. Instead, it is one from 65 million years ago, as evidenced by the dinosaurs and other strange creatures that are lurking around. Since there are no humans outside, Mills once again makes his way back inside the ship to check if anyone else is alive, but there are 2 escape pods missing from the ship, indicating that someone may have escaped when they were hit. Mills is well aware that those escape pods are invincible because they are designed for these kinds of circumstances. As he checks in with his company and updates them, he notices that there are 2 escape pods missing from the ship. Mills now determines that he must discover those escape pods at any cost because it is the only way he can return to his family. He also contemplates killing himself, but as he looks at some of his family members, he changes his mind. Images of the daughter while watching some of his daughter's recordings, he changes his mind and attempts to get something to eat but is unable. Later, he gets a notification that someone is still alive in the pods. Following the guidance provided by the system, Mills immediately sets out to find that pod. After running about for a while, he eventually finds it, and when he opens it, a female is inside. He then carries the girl inside. The girl hasn't said anything up to this point, so Mills eventually asks her who she is and where she's from. When the girl finally speaks, Mills is unhappy since he can't understand what she's saying because she speaks in a foreign language. The only thing that works on the ship is a broken translator that Mills can use to interpret the girl's speech, but he doesn't even know what that language is. Mills eventually finds a book in which he discovers the girl's name. KOA. The scene then shifts to the following morning, when Mills ventures outside once more to gain a better understanding of what is around him. As he looks around, he realizes that he is in an era when mighty creatures, not humans, ruled the Earth. As he moves forward and comes into contact with a hot geyser blast, he realizes that he is in this era and that these predators are extremely lethal, but he recovers quickly. He notices something shining on a nearby mountain and, upon closer inspection, learns that it is actually the other half of his own spaceship. Deciding to visit the mountain, he first conducts a quick scan to confirm that the shining object is, in fact, his ship. As he considers the best route to take to reach the mountain summit, he is attacked by a swarm of swarming creatures. Then, as he moves forward to see what is there, he is shocked to see that KOA has left the ship. She had been hiding there, and when she realized that Mills had spotted her, she began running once more. He had been seen crushing the creature with his gun and killing it instantly. Naturally, Mills pursues her, and the 2 of them tumble down a ledge and discover a massive dinosaur. Fortunately for them, the dinosaur is not hostile. The 2 then feel the earth and trees begin to tremble as a larger dinosaur approaches them, which is already dead. In a hurry, Mills grabs KOA and heads back to the ship. He attends to her while there and tries to explain himself, but she obviously doesn't comprehend a word of it, so his efforts are ineffective. The girl must realize that they must communicate at all costs, so Mills then chooses to communicate in another way. He creates some drawings to do this. KOA then pulls back, asking about her family, who are likely on the ship. Mills realizes that this girl is going to be devastated if she learns that her family is dead, so he lies to her, telling her that they are also on that mountain, in order to get her to agree to go to the mountain with him in order to retrieve the other part of that pod so that both of them can escape. Then Mills decides to send another SOS message in the direction he desires. We see that initially she was really happy and kept telling her dad that she was proud of him for what he was trying to do for her, but as time went on, her message changed. She was upset with her family. In the meantime, the girl watches some of Naveen's recordings, and through them, she learns that Naveen got even sicker when Mills was just 1 year into the journey and was taken to the hospital. Knowing that they must go immediately, they proceed cautiously and softly into the dark woodland, Mills keeping a constant eye out for threats with his rifle. The trek is only 15 miles, but it seems much longer due to the need to go carefully through a deep forest and the need to avoid alerting any predators. Mills and KOA also finally began to understand one another. KOA pauses sometimes for various reasons, and Mills is kind to her. As the two continue walking, KOA now begins to draw closer to Mills. As they continue their trip, they come across some red berries, and KOA proceeds to pluck some of those and beat Mills with those berries, making it plain that she is sick of walking and does not find this stroll entertaining at all. She observes something red up in the sky but chooses to ignore it. However, he quickly scans those berries and informs her that they are extremely toxic and that she should not be playing with them. As they continue walking, Mills notices that there is a little hole in the ground. He has a weird insect on his neck, and after killing it with his bare hands, he feels disgusted since his fingers are covered in a highly sticky material. After failing to remove the material by brushing it off on a tree, Mills ends up with more objects attached to his palm as a result of the sticky substance. As he struggles with this, the girl laughs. Their giggles, however, come to an abrupt end when a tiny tree falls right in. Mills thinks it humorous and attempts to touch her with his dirty hand in an effort to be playful with her. When they look over a ledge in front of them, they see another dinosaur stuck in the same sticky substance, though this one is smaller. KOA feels bad for the creature and rushes to free it, but Mills yells at her to turn around because the situation is too dangerous. When KOA doesn't listen, Mills is forced to assist her. They were able to free the dinosaur, but as soon as he started to leave, he was attacked by other predators, who promptly devoured. They continue walking and, to their relief, come upon a waterfall where they pause to relieve themselves and rehydrate. Mills suffers a little with his stomach wounds but is determined to continue. While waiting, KOA finds some flowers and even places one in Mills's hair because she is so kind as to permit her to do so. Mills attempts to scan the area once again, but the dense forest prevents him from getting a better perspective. He then climbs up a tree branch, where he gains a better view of the area. When he is attacked by a bug and tries to brush it off, he loses his balance and falls, dislocating his shoulder. When KOA tries to help him, he makes a noise that attracts a group of dinosaurs. She is able to put it back in its proper position just in time. When Mills picks up his gun and orders KOA to leave the area, she flees. Mills then uses some small bombs that kill many dinosaurs while KOA is still running, but they arrive at a cave where Mills puts on some sensors that will warn him if there is any danger that night. He cries when he remembers the phone call made to him by his wife when she told him that their daughter had died in a hospital. KOA tries to comfort him. She is approached by other dinosaurs who are just about to devour her when Mills shows up and shoots them all. One of them, however, attacks KOA and drags her away, but Mills manages to scare it off with some large dinosaurs outside that cage. They both proceed through a tiny hole and deeper back into the dark cave, where they eventually come to a dead end. They are unaware that a smaller dinosaur is after them since Mills continues to fire the beast, but this one is too enormous. Then, Mills discovers a little opening too small for a person to get through. He tries to enlarge it with a mini-bomb, and it succeeds. KOA squeezes through the small opening and informs Mills that they have arrived. Can escape via this, but as the cave collapses, Mills loses contact with her. The dinosaur then attacks him, biting his arm. In the meantime, KOA has managed to escape and picks up a huge, pointy bone to use as a weapon. She even poisons the bone to make it more effective. Mills tries to fight back, but he has lost his gun. He barely manages to get to his small system and turns on a screeching sound that hurts the creature's ear. Mills uses this opportunity to get his gun and shoot at the dinosaur. Mills comes out and notices a large meteorite approaching. After checking his scanner, he determines that it will strike soon. KOA is attacked by a dinosaur. Mills hears her screams and runs in her direction, but he gets stuck in quicksand. He sinks and becomes helpless after a while. When KOA reaches Mills, she uses a tree branch to help him out of the quicksand, and the two embrace. Mills turns on the computer to discover that another ship is heading to rescue them from the opposite side of the ship. When small pieces of meteorites start falling, KOA and Mills get into a secure pod. As they prepare to launch, a meteorite hits and the pod falls off the mountain, knocking both of them unconscious. When KOA wakes up and presses the launch button, she discovers that they cannot launch in their current condition. Position when Mills awakens as well, some dinosaurs assault their pod. When Mills sees Naveen's hologram, which KOA had used to distract the dinosaur, he realizes that he is going to die there. The dinosaurs attack the hologram, giving Mills plenty of time to shoot them, and as a result, the pod is now headed in the right direction for launch. However, the big dinosaur from the cave returns to attack them, and by this point, the sun has already risen. When the dinosaur is about to be eaten, KOA appears with the poisoned bone and stabs the enormous creature in agony. The dinosaur then walks into the hot geyser and dies. The two then board the pod and press the launch button. As they travel back home, Mills feels as though he has discovered another daughter as Koa grabs his hand. The movie then comes to an end. Subscribe for more videos, turn on the notification, and leave a like to help the channel grow. Thank you for watching.